بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وبعد، يقول الحق تبارك وتعالى كما في سورة المائدة في أواخر الآية الثانية: وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in Surah Al-Maidah, Surah 5, the end of second ayah of this beautiful surah, Allah says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Cooperate with one another in goodness and righteousness, and do not cooperate in sin and transgression, and be mindful of Allah. Surely Allah is severe in punishment. What we learn from this ayah is the importance of ta'awun. First of all, what is ta'awun? How important it is. Types of people when it comes to ta'awun. Or let me make it easy, the 4 types of people when it comes to ta'awun. Anwa' at-ta'awun. Types of cooperation. Suwar at-ta'awun. Namadhij, examples of ta'awun. And lastly, khuturat at-tafriqah, the danger of division. التعاون معناه التساعد وأن يعين الناس بعضهم بعضا على البر والتقوى. تعاون is to help one another in that which is known as al-birr wa taqwa. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, cooperate with one another in goodness, in al-birr wa taqwa. Al-birr fi'lu al-khair. Al-birr fi'lu al-khair. Wa taqwa ittiqa'u al-shar. So birr here means to do that which is good. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبَلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ وَلَكِنِ الْبِرُّ من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم وإذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says that birr is the list of these beautiful things. It is not just facing towards east or west, he says. It's not because I'm praying towards Qibla, I am good. But he says birr starts with al-iman. ولكن البر من آمن بالله. To believe in Allah in the last day. والكتاب, the book. ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر. والملائكة, the angels, the existence of the angels created by Allah تبارك وتعالى. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين. To believe in all the prophets and know that the final and the last one of all of them is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى. And to give one's wealth على حبه, though he is in love with it, he is in need. When you give for the sake of Allah, you give while you give something that you love. You don't give something, the left out that you have no need of. As Allah says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ, you will never gain al-birr حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, until you spend from that which you love. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. So we give that which we love, but we don't want to give that which we would not want to take if it was given to us. As Allah tells us subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ وَلَسْتُمْ بِآخِذِيهِ إِلَّا أَن تُغْمِدُوا فِيهِ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب. Give to those who are close to you. Give to the orphans, the poor, and those who are called Ibn Sabil. A person can be wealthy in his country, but can be, in need because he is traveling. Give to those who ask. Don't say, oh, these people, they just here asking, why don't you go and work? Just give if you have. And to free people who are, prisoners or are in a state of ubudiyah and riq. وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَى الزَّكَاةَ, and the list go on. The list goes on. So birr here is fi'lul khair, to do that which is good. And taqwa here is ittiqa'u shar, to avoid that which is evil. So when we do ta'awun on this basis. We help one another to do that which is good and help one another to stay away from that which is evil. Because people when people act, they act upon one of these two things. They act upon that which is good or upon that which is evil. So to help one another to do that which is good is to make it easy for your brother, for your sister. And to help to avoid that which is evil is to do your best to prevent your brother from doing that which is evil. So birr is what? To do good and helping one another to do it and make it easy for people. At-taqwa is ittiqa'u shar. And ta'awun ala taqwa is to make sure that you protect one another from doing that which is evil. If we work on this basis, then the saying of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will be seen in all of us. وَأَنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونِي وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاتَّقُونِي. Ibn Jarir, rahmatullahi alayhi, said, Al-ithmu tarku ma amara Allahu bifi'alih. Because Allah says, وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا, and do not cooperate, عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Do not cooperate, do not help one another. Do not cooperate in sin and in al-udwan, transgression. So Ibn Jarir rahmatullah alayhi said that al-ithmu, sin, is to abandon that which is commanded by Allah. When Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells you to do something, not doing so is al-ithm. And he said al-udwan is mujawazatu ma haddallahu fi dinikum wa mujawazatu ma faradallahu alaykum fi anfusikum wa fi ghayrikum. If you go beyond the limits of what Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has set for you, whether it has to do with your deen or with yourselves, he said that is transgression. Al-udwan is to go beyond the limits of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So we know what ta'awun is. Ta'awun is to help one another. And ta'awun ala al-birr is to make sure that we're helping one another to cooperate in doing that which is good. And ta'awun ala taqwa is to cooperate in avoiding that which is evil. If we know that, we know then that ta'awun is of extreme importance. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا تَنَاجَيْتُمْ فَلَا تَتَنَاجَوْا بِالْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ وَمَعْصِيَةِ الرَّسُولِ وَتَنَاجَوْا بِالْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي إِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. When you are in a jama'ah and you want to talk to one another, let the speech, let the subject of the talk is al-birr wa taqwa, and never let the speech subject be what Allah calls al-ithm wal-udwan. Because the believing men and women always want to help one another in achieving the pleasure of Allah through goodness, in avoiding and stay away from the anger of Allah, in saving one another from the punishment of Allah through what? Through helping one another to avoid that which is evil. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَيُطِيعُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ أُولَئِكَ سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. And ta'awun is from the sifat of the believing men and women. So if I want to see who I am, let me look for myself in this field of ta'awun. If I do wish people good, and I do my best that I help them do good, and I accept when they command the good to me, when they give me advice, when they counsel me, when they try to help me to do that which is good, if I see myself there, and I see myself in the field of helping people and cooperating with them in avoiding that which is evil, and whenever they see me trying to do evil, they, stop me and I accept to stop. Whenever I see myself in these fields, then I am among the believing men and women. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi وصحبه وسلم said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw maghluman." Help your brother whether he is wrong or wronged. Whether he is wrong or he is wronged by someone else. It was said to him عليه الصلاة والسلام هذه نصرته مظلوما فكيف أنصره إذا كان ظالما. I understand that I help him when he is wronged, when someone wronged him, transgresses him. But how do I help him if he is wrong? If he's the one doing wrong? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "تحجزه وتمنعه من الظلم فذلك نصره." Stop him from doing wrong, prevent him from transgressing. That is helping him. This hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari. So we know that, ta'awun is from the sifat of the believing men and women. Among the ways we can help one another is what we call tashawur. Tashawur is a form of ta'awun. As Allah says, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. The Prophet ﷺ, who is the most perfect of all men, whose aql is complete, who is given divine revelation and divine support and divine, care and protection, he cannot be wrong because Allah is there for him all the times, and he never says anything from his desire. وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He was commanded by Allah to make shura, to consult his companions. And Allah says, when it comes to the Muslims, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ in Surah Ali Imran, Ayah 159. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ in Surah Shura, Ayah 38. Which means that we need to apply this principle of shura. Sometimes you think about something, you want to make a decision, you just consult yourself, you make up your mind and you do it. Then later on you regret. But if you consult others, they may say to you something that you may disagree, but if you really think about it, you may change your mind. Whatever you can do as a person, you can do it better if you have the help of the others. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says, one does never fail if he applies the principle of shura. Ma khaba man istashar. So helping one another is applying this principle of shura. Make shura with your wife, with your son, with your daughter, with your neighbors, with your friends, with the community, because Allah says, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. At-tawasi, to advise one another. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Asri, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Allah says, all mankind is in perdition, is in a state of loss, except for people who have these four qualities. Number one, quality of Iman. ولكن البر وفي قراءة ولكن البر من آمن بالله. The quality of Iman. Number two, al-amal salih, doing that which is good. Number three, helping one another. Tawasi bil haqq, to give advice to do that which is true, and giving advice to one another to do that which to apply what is called a sabr. Because when you have iman and you act upon it, that's not enough. You have to help others to do the same. But when you try to help others to do the same, you have to be ready for the inconvenience, for the consequences. People would not let go because people, they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told to change. They don't want to be found guilty or wrong. So if they are harsh to you in response, if they harm, be ready to apply a sabr. So advise one another to do that which is good, but advise one another to also have this, this khuluq of sabr. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Because sabr is one of the highest principles of Islam. One of the greatest qualities of Islam is the quality of sabr. When we do sawm, what do? We apply sabr. Because you have the food, you have the drink, nobody is there but Allah. You could go to your fridge and drink, but because you know Allah is watching you, because you want to please your Lord, you have sabr over that. And the whole deen has to do with sabr. You do sabr so that you do that which is good. As-sabr ala ta'at. Because it's Fajr time, you could sleep. It's very easy and, very, it feels good to sleep during the Fajr time. But you abandon the sleep and, sometimes laziness is there. You overcome the laziness and do the ibadah. That's a sabr ala ta'a. And sabr anil ma'siyah. You know that you can disobey, but you apply sabr. And a sabr alal baliyah. Something is, is wrong. You have some pain. You suffer, but you don't complain. You apply sabr. A sabr ala ta'a and a sabr alal baliyah are easier. The biggest type of sabr is the sabr anil ma'siyah. To overcome the ego when it comes to disobeying Allah. Many of us obey Allah. Many of us, don't complain when we get sick. But few of us are those who can get away when it comes to ma'siyah. That's the highest level of sabr. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So when any one of us is engaged in this da'wah of this beautiful deen, he has to have that maqam of sabr. Ya bunay, as Luqman said in Surah Luqman, Ya bunay, aqimi salah. You see, that's the first thing. Before you call people to that which is good, start with yourself. Charité bien, partager, commence par, ou bien ordonner, commence par soi-même. أليس كذلك؟ هذا ما يقوله الفرنسيون. ابدأ بنفسك ثم بمن تعود. I think they stole it from the Prophet because he said it. ابدأ بنفسك. Start with yourself. ثم بمن تعود. يا بني أقم الصلاة. So once you establish prayer, وأمر بالمعروف. Help the others to establish prayer. Then you see them do good, وَنْهَى عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Don't tell people, okay, when you become Muslim, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. Let them in. Then gradually you teach them. وَنْهَى عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. But there are consequences. وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. They say these are the 4 principles of da'wah. Do it, call towards it, prevent from that with evil, have patience. وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ مِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. You want to be from the ulul azm. And to be among the ulul azm is to be raised to the maqam of the holy prophets, alayhimu salatu wassalam. Bittaba'iyya. Not because you are as high as them, But because you are following their path, you are now part of them. والذين آمنوا واتبعتهم ذريتهم بإيمان ألحقنا بهم ذرياتهم وما ألتناهم من عملهم من شيء ومن يطع الله والرسول فأولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء مع Allah says مع you're going to be with them والذين آمنوا واتبعهم ذريتهم بإيمان أي بإيمان ناقص ألحقنا بهم ذريته سبحانه وتعالى ما أكرمه وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر because of that sabr has no limit when it comes to reward. إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب إلا صوم فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به because صوم has to do with sabr. That's why Allah says I will reward it myself or I am the reward وأنا أجزي به. Because when you are doing sawm, you are doing something that belongs to Allah. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, He is constantly in sawm. He doesn't eat. وهو يطعم ولا يطعم ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين فلا تعلم نفس ما أخفي لهم من قرة أعين جزاء بما كانوا يعملون. This group who are doing good, inviting others to do the same, helping one another to avoid evil, and have patience when it comes to the consequences. No soul can know what is prepared for them. فلا تعلم نفس ما أخفي لهم من قرة أعين جزاء بما كانوا يعملون. Al-Imam al-Mawardi rahmatullah alayhi said there are 4 categories of people when it comes to ta'awun على البر والتقوى وعدم التعاون على الإثم والعدوان. We will talk about those categories of people tomorrow inshallah, and we can ask ourselves or we can judge ourselves as to which category we belong, and we see if we are not in the category we are supposed to be, we try our best to be there, to progress, to develop, to grow, because that's why we are here. We always want to increase our efforts and try our best. And it's for all of us. I am not here sitting telling you what to do. I am telling myself what to do. I know that I need more than anyone here these principles, these wasaya al-ilahiyya tabaraka wa ta'ala. وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك واجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وقبلنا يا ربي في الصالحين. اللهم سلمنا لرمضان وسلم رمضان لنا وتسلمه منا متقبلا. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.